Hi everybody, I'm Coach Doug O'Laughlin, and today we are going to do a video presentation on nutrition made simple. We're going to keep it really easy, folks. We're going to start off by saying, where does energy come from? Well, simple answer, it comes from our food. It comes from calories. So I want you to think of food as energy, not the enemy when it comes to nutrition. So, what are our calories made up of? Well, to be honest with you, they're made up of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. We're going to look at fats first. There are 4 types of fats. There are saturated fats, trans fats, mono, and polyunsaturated fats. A lot of times when you look at food labels, hopefully you look at food labels, you will notice those types of fats. The saturated fat, should be having a goal of 20 grams or less per day. What is saturated fat? That's basically the animal fat. Any meat, especially red meat, also found in dairy, eggs, butter, and anything else made from dairy products. Basically the good tasting things. Trans fat. Try to eat very little of the trans fat. Those are basically the processed fats, chemical fats coming from hydrogenated oils. This is found in processed foods such as fried foods, margarine, processed peanut butter, French fries, etc. Okay. The nice thing though, lately there has been some technology to help, with baking some of our foods like French fries. That'd be a little bit better option than the deep fried. And then the mono and polyunsaturated fats are our last types of fats. Those are the good, heart healthy fats found in such foods as in nuts, some seeds, some fish, some oils, and avocados. These are the types of fats that are going to help you with your HDL, which is your good fats. Okay? By itself, fat doesn't have much impact on blood sugar, but when you eat fat along with carbohydrates, it can slow the rise in blood sugars. Okay, so those are our fats. I want you to remember fat is not the enemy. Like I said, good fats are helpful with our HDL, but also too, fats can also help us in our diet, okay, to stay healthy as well. All right, proteins are next. Proteins, these are the 2 types of proteins, lean protein and not so lean, which refers to how much saturated fat the choice contains. All right, so what are lean proteins? Now, these are the things that you're going to want to have more often than not. They are chicken breast, fish, eggs, but be careful of the LDL cholesterol, okay? Beans, nuts, nut butters, quinoa, however you want to pronounce that one, okay? Now, the nice thing about lean proteins, they're typically going to be low in calories. These are very helpful, okay? Now, you'll also notice with Cooking with Coach, some of the videos I did for Lunch and Learns, I do a lot of chicken breast routines or meals just because, like I said, of the low calories that we can have with that. Now, the not so lean proteins. Now, these I want you to use in moderation. Okay, moderation does not mean every single day. And that is red meats, any processed meats. I'm sure this summer you might have had some brats, some sausages, hot dogs, bologna, salami. These are the high-fat dairy products. So moderation. Just remember when I say that, for example, if you're going to have a brat, for dinner, maybe you want to go with a leaner protein for, breakfast and lunch. Now, proteins. Your body needs proteins for growth, maintenance, energy, and also recovery. Recovery for those muscles. Okay, so when we exercise, these proteins are going to help with the recovery process. Protein takes 3 to 4 hours to affect blood sugar levels. When it does have an effect, foods that are mostly protein won't cause much of a rise in blood sugar. Okay, so the carbs will, Proteins will not. So it's good to have protein spread out throughout the day as well. Okay? All right, now I mentioned carbs. Let's talk about those carbs. Carbohydrates contain the most glucose. That's going to be our blood sugars, okay? Provide the quickest form of energy, carbs do, that your body changes 100% of carbohydrates into glucose. Okay? Your body can store carbohydrates in your liver as glycogen and release it later when your body needs it. So remember, carbs are not always the energy or enemy. They are energy sources, but remember, too much energy will go as fat storage, so it's very good to use carbs in moderation. Okay? There's a limit to the amount of glycogen your liver can store. Once your liver has reached that limit, your body turns that extra carbohydrates into fat. So reminder, everything in moderation. Continuing with the carbohydrates, there are two types of carbohydrates, simple and complex, or I call them the bad versus the good carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates, which are the bad, okay, are simple carbohydrates will raise blood sugar levels very quickly, but they don't last very long. These carbs work well to correct low blood sugar levels, but don't satisfy hunger as well as the healthy carbs will. Now, with that being said, that would be like a soda. Okay, that's not always the healthiest for us, but that's going to rise up our blood sugars. Okay, that's also a possibility of like high sugar cereals. Your complex carbohydrates, which are the better carbohydrates, they will raise the blood sugar slowly and it will last longer, so sustained energy levels. If you go for long walks or jogs, these are the type of carbohydrates you want to consume. This helps keep you from feeling hungry for a longer time and helps keep blood sugars level closer to their normal. All right, sugar conversion. Okay, when I say nutrition made simple, we got to talk about sugars, right? 4 grams of sugar equals 1 teaspoon. Okay, we are going to divide that number of grams by 4 to see how many teaspoons of sugar are in each serving. Now, the other thing you can do too is you can look at food labels. The reason why I want you to think about this conversion is because the American Heart Association recommends limiting the amount of added sugars you consume to no more than half of your daily discretionary calorie allowance. For example, the average woman should have no more than 100 calories per day or 6 teaspoons. For the average man, we want to shoot for 150 calories per day or 9 teaspoons of sugar or less. Okay? Naturally occurring sugars, that is going to be on moderation as well, but these are going to be better for you than just basically dumping sugar onto your plate. Those naturally occurring sugars, which are okay, are fruit and also milk. The added sugars, okay, the sugars or the caloric sweeteners that are added to foods or beverages during the process of preparation, these include white and brown sugars and the caloric sweeteners that are chemically manufactured, such as high fructose corn syrup. Now, what does that mean? What are some examples, right? Well, Mountain Dew, okay, or Rockstar Energies. For example, they have, okay, 19 teaspoons in a 20-ounce soda, okay, and then those Rockstar Energy drinks have about 8 teaspoons in about an 8-ounce glass. That is pretty much going to be very high up there in regards to your total value throughout the day. Other examples are going to be like an apple juice, which is 6.5 teaspoons in an 8-ounce, which is still pretty high. And then if we just have like a regular Yoplait yogurt, that's going to be about 7 teaspoons in about a 6-ounce container. All right. I want to just bring those up to give you an idea, okay, of where sugars are coming from. All right. Extra added sugars, okay, that we want to be careful for. All right. And this will be on your food labels. And it might not just say sugar on it, but those examples are brown sugar, cane crystals, cane sugar, corn syrup. That's a big one. You want to keep an eye on your corn syrup. We also want to look for lactose. Sometimes we'll find it naturally in honey, glucose. So all different ways of any kind of syrup are ways to look at food labels to see how we're getting added sugars in there. Okay, so they try to hide it on you. Okay, all right. Nutrition made simple. It's not that simple, is it? All right. Let's talk about food pairing. Let's talk about substitutions here. Some foods or combinations of foods cause a greater feeling of fullness and or take longer to digest, which is going to leave you feeling more satisfied after eating. The nice thing about this full feeling, it's going to help you control your appetite. Okay? When we can do this, okay, we're going to avoid snacking more often than not. We're going to avoid snacking before bed. So we do want to food pair together. The idea is to pair foods from these three food groups, which we talked about earlier, your proteins, fats, and carbs, rather than just eating those from, one food group. Okay, remember I said the carbs, blood sugar up, blood sugar drops, you're looking for more food. If we can add those three together in for our snacks, okay, or for our meals, it's going to help you out. What are some examples? Cottage cheese or low-fat cheese with some fruit, some smoothies made with fruit, Greek yogurts, and maybe some flaxseed, raw veggies with almond butter or hummus, scrambled eggs with some mixed veggies, or some oatmeal with some nuts and berries. These are some very, very good suggestions, folks, to snack on. So we don't feel like we're going to have to go back to the kitchen or the pantry again, an hour later or less. Next, let's talk about starvation mode. Notice how the three food groups in our diet discussed earlier were all in some way linked to blood sugar levels in the body. When you don't eat for a while, your blood sugars, are going to drop. When you eat after 6, 7, 8 hours, okay, your blood sugar spikes. A spike in blood sugar causes excess insulin in your blood. When there is an excess of insulin in your blood, your body stores fat more easily. The key to nutritious eating, I'm going to repeat that. The key to nutritious eating and weight loss is not necessarily eating less. Okay? So your tip is to eat smaller, more portion controlled meals, balanced meals, every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. Okay? Don't starve yourself. Your body will go into storage mode, okay, if you do not eat. I'm going to repeat that one last time. The key to nutritious eating and weight loss is not necessarily eating less. Okay? The key is to eat smaller meals more often, but they have to be balanced meals with your carbs, proteins, and fats roughly every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. Okay? All right. Moving on. What is the definition of diet? Okay, I don't like the word diet because diets die. Okay? In nutrition, diet is the sum of food consumed by a person or other organism. Dietary habits are the habitual decisions of an individual or culture that makes when choosing what foods to eat and when. The word diet often implies the use of specific intake of nutrition for health or weight management reasons, with the two often being related. Although humans, are omnivores, each culture and each person holds some food preferences or some food taboos. This may be due to personal tastes or for ethical reasons. Individual dietary choices may be more or less nutritious. Proper nutrition requires you to ingest and absorb the use of vitamins, minerals, and food energy in the form of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. Dietary habits and choices play a significant role in the quality of life, health, and longevity of the individual. It can define cultures and play a role in religion as well. What is the best diet? And I get this question asked a lot. Okay. Well, Diet selection should be based on a number of factors. Okay, now I would prefer to use the word lifestyle choices or lifestyle versus diet. But things you do need to consider: health risks. Are you on any medications? What are your food choice preferences? Don't do a diet if you do not like certain foods. You also need to consider time management. You also need to understand who cooks, shops, and plans the meals. We have to be respectful of ourselves and others, family members. And finally, the need for more information on food choices, etc. So, those are some suggestions in regards to making small changes. Keep those things in mind. My best advice when it comes to changing your lifestyle with food: start with small changes. Identify areas of the needed improvement. Okay? Do I need to work on what I'm eating, or do I need to work on portion sizes? To me, I don't like restrictions, but I do like modifications, and I like awareness, and I like data to use to help with my diet, my lifestyle. Make a small change that you can build on over time. Practice, practice, practice that small change until it becomes a habit. If you make too big of changes early on, you're not going to last. Trust me, I have over 20 years of experience in the field. You have to start slow, but be consistent. Then, once you kind of got that to be under a habit, then add another small change into your lifestyle. That's what's going to work. Okay? Now, what are some resources that can help you with your nutrition? Okay? Me, your health coach here, Doug O'Laughlin. Reach out to me. Other websites that you can check out are eatright.org, choosemyplate.gov, heart.org, and then another one, fda.gov. So these are just some extra resources that can help you out. With that being said, folks, I want to leave you with this. Nutrition, okay, it's very difficult because there's a lot of different, information out there. But I want you to take this home today. Have a good mix of carbs, proteins, and fats throughout the day. Combine them together. Work on moderation, not restriction. And last but not least, you do what you can, not what you can't. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do have more questions, I do want you to reach out to me, Doug O'Laughlin. I'd be more than welcome to help you. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day. And once again, see you soon.